Welcome to another edition of Let's Play Farming Simulator 2013 on Lomerheim. Alright, so I got this field cultivated, which took a little bit longer than I anticipated, and I started seeding it already, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish seeding this field up in canola, and then we shall have a nice canola field, well, one field. We still have a couple other fields that we need to deal with, so... Luckily, you can go relatively quick with this, so the maximum speed you can use this seeder with is about 14 kilometers, I think they said. So if you actually hire a worker, it takes longer, and which makes it a bit interesting. So, anyways, I am probably going to do this in circles, and the reason being is because this is a pull behind, and it just makes it a bit easier. I guess I don't need to. I could do it another way. And the funny thing is, when you careful. The funny thing is, when you hire a worker, he does like a huge U-turn. It's kind of funny to watch. He actually, I don't know why, but he does an enormous U-turn. And then by enormous, I mean pretty darn enormous. So basically, like, that U-turn I did there, he would go, like, you know, outside of the field, even though there's a little bit of a headland there already, so... It makes it pretty ridiculous, actually, so... But, that's the way they do it. And it's pull behind. It's not a 3-point, and that's probably the reason why as well. But I don't know how he would, what it would be like with the 3-point. Like, he might... The high worker might do a good job with the 3-point, like the, what's the next one up? The horse seed drill. It might work well with that, but I'm not sure. Alright, let's just pull that up here. And as you can see, my driving has not been very good. Apparently the RPMs in this tractor increase when you drop this seeder for whatever reason, so I don't know why. So far, this tractor has been a pretty darn good purchase. I totally forgot about the wither wheels on it. It has wither wheels even on the more realistic version, so that's fine. I guess it makes it more realistic, so can't complain too much about that. Now, as I mentioned, because we are using canola does last a long time in more realistic. If you've ever seen canola seed, it's actually really, really small, so it's not surprising it would last a long time. And it also does cost an arm and a leg. To buy, like, I don't know, I'm not sure how much a pallet of canola would cost, but I know it's not cheap. Alright, let's just line that up there. Perfect. Good. So when you hire a worker, you actually, this is what hired workers look like. 6.4 kilometers, and that's on cruise control 1, full speed, basically. So just to give you an idea as to why I'm not using a hired worker. It's actually a bit more efficient for me to do it as well, strangely enough. So, and that's mostly just due to the fact that the way they actually turn is ridiculous, because they do an enormous turn, and more than once traffic has got backed up right there when I was just hired a worker just to see how it would work. Not very effective, not gonna lie to you. So I'm gonna do this. Take a nice little turn out there. Now to get this little bit I missed, I'll do a nice little U-turn, lift it up, or lift, I guess it's raising it. And the funny thing is, if you're actually using this, you couldn't use this tractor with this, because you'd actually have to get out of the tractor in order to lower it. Here, let me just show you. You'd have to, like, hit these and actually lower them that way, but you can't do it with this type of tractor because there's a window there and you can't reach them. In this scenario, apparently you can, so whatever. I'm not complaining too much, so. Now this is one of our bigger fields, so you're gonna get not a crazy amount of canola, but a good amount, so it's not too bad. Now we do have the other field over there, the small one that we bought last episode, that we're gonna need to deal with as well, because we do have that situation where it's like, well, luckily it's already cultivated. It seems like cultivation is the point that takes the longest. Everything else isn't, like, so far, harvesting isn't too bad, and seeding's not too bad, but cultivating right now takes forever. Mainly because they can't, for whatever reason, I can't use a hard worker for them to work efficiently. Like this, because this is a pull behind seeder, it does work, but not 100%. So, whatever. It's working so far, so. Alright. But I do like the seeder. It's a pretty cool looking seeder, I have to admit that. Not very precise, I suppose, but it gets the job done. Unfortunately, the game doesn't factor in things like how precise your implements are. It just goes by, yep, it seeds. That's about it. Like normally what would happen is this particular seeder probably wouldn't be very accurate in terms of seed density. So, like dropping, it just basically drops seeds via gravity. Like if you have an air seeder, it actually uses air to shoot the seed into the soil, and will usually shoot fertilizer in after it. But in this scenario, you're basically just using, you engage like a gear using the levers, and it would just basically, it drops the seed by the gear turning a seed disc, I guess you might call it, or something. I don't know why the RPMs go up when I turn. When I'm going straight, it's fine, but when I turn, it raises the RPMs like it's no tomorrow. Not sure why, but oh well. At least we have the option of using a nice big tractor, although it does look kind of funny with the seeder, so we'll have to replace the seeder at some point as well. How are cows doing? Cows need some grass and some water and some silage apparently. So we're gonna need to make some silage eventually for them as well. There are some grass fields around actually, so places where we could get some grass from. So the funny thing is, because I'm using a more realistic mod, I don't have as many mods that are more realistic for stuff like silage and whatnot. So, and if you can hear random sounds in the background, it's my girlfriend. She's sewing. She's making a birthday gift for her father. So you can hear like a random machine-like sound. That's what it is, in case you're wondering. Well, I think this is actually a lot more efficient with me doing it. If you hire a worker and walk away, here, I'll show you what. So this is hire a worker, first of all. And that's how slow he moves. And then let me just show you the turn that he's going to make up here. It's kind of funny to watch. So remember how I said they make a really big turn? You're going to see it in a second here. Alright, so there he's at the end of the pass. And apparently he's not going to do his turn. So this is the turn they do. And you can drive through these trees. But he's doing a pretty good job of avoiding them actually. Almost. So that's the turn they do. How ridiculous is that, eh? But I don't know, I think it's the more realistic mod that makes it kind of silly in terms of turning and hard workers and whatnot, because this is the only time I've ever had this kind of odd problem with a hard worker, so I can only assume the reason being is the more realistic mod, because every vehicle here re-implement is all more realistic, so it's the only possible solution, the only possible answer at this point, so oh well. Alright, so I'm not lifting it up this time, I'm just doing a circle. Now, this isn't probably in the most efficient way. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. Definitely getting the job done, and that is a bonus on this map, because things take a little bit longer with the more realistic mod installed, I discovered. As I mentioned, cultivating takes a lot longer, so oh well. I think this is the first time I've seeded in a long time. Normally I don't do it because you can just hire a worker, or let's say course play for example, but As I mentioned before, Courseplay and the more realistic mod do not play well together, so that is the reason why I am not using not using Courseplay. See, this is the turn you gotta take. Maybe it's just the turning circle of this particular tractor, because it is pretty large apparently, but oh well. So we've only used 3%, we've seeded this whole field just about, so that gives you an idea of how much seed you would actually need using the more realistic mod at least. Like if you're not using the more realistic mod, then you do need, well, it depends. If you hire a worker and you don't have the hire workers consume fuel and seeds, then obviously you wouldn't need that. You need to worry about that, but in this scenario you do. Now the funny thing is, if I were to change the crop I'm using, I would get money back, which is kind of cool. But I don't think you don't get 100% of what you spent. That just looks funny. I couldn't imagine a farmer actually seeing the field like this. Maybe in the olden days, I don't know. Maybe in the olden days. Nowadays it's all hydraulics and stuff like that. That's not all of it actually. I used a rake a while back that was it was an old style rake that you had to actually crank to raise and lower the rake and stuff like that, and it was propelled by the tires themselves. So as the tires moved, it would get it would start moving forward and whatnot. So, all right, let's raise that up there. Let's get that last little bit. Let's see if we can get this little tiny bit here. It must be because this is a flat, or like a, I don't know, I guess I can call it flat. It doesn't contour to the land, that's what I'm getting at. Nope. Not from that angle, apparently. Alright, let's get this a little bit. I guess if I really want to get those, I'll have to go east-west, I think it would be. Yeah. Alright, so let's get this last little bit here. Perfect, look at this. So because I already did a little bit of seeding off camera, that's why this didn't take nearly as long as it would have. But it seems like I'm going to have to do a lot of the work myself, which is fine. But that does mean I can only really do one thing at a time. Unfortunately for you guys, I suppose, if you want to see more than one thing at the same time. But it's not the way I normally play. Normally I'm a bit more all over the place in terms of doing things, but when I have a scenario like this, where I can only drive one thing and I can't use Courseplay basically, that's the reason why we gotta do it this way. Alright, let's get this last little bit here. Perfect. Well, as perfect as it's going to get, at least. So. Alright, let's drive off the field here. So we do own this field as well now. So we might as well just start seeding this field as well, because we might as well use up these seeds. Because if I remember correctly, we don't get the money back from from switching seeds. Well, actually, we'll have to, I think you actually lose money on it if you do it. I think you get like 30 or 40% back, maybe. I don't know the exact number, so. It's something in that range, at least. Alright. This one shouldn't take nearly as long because it's a nice little small field. And luckily we have wither wheels on, so we're basically cultivating, so to speak, the edge of the field. Oh, be careful, be careful. Almost nicked that. Jeez. And this is going to be a bit of a problem, probably, in terms of getting that little bit around there. I may have to do that off camera and just see how close I can actually get to it, because that is pretty darn close. Apparently you need a little bit of extra horsepower turning the tractor. I guess that makes sense. It just sounds odd when I turn. Oh well. But we definitely will have to upgrade our seeder soon enough. I think the seed drill might be a good option on this map, because it cultivates at the same time, and it's a 3-point, so it won't have to do a crazy turn or anything like that, so that'll be nice. Excellent. Let's get that. Good. I don't know. I wonder how they used to seed with these old seeders. Did they used to go up and down the field, or used to go in, I'm sure they didn't go in circles. Well, maybe they did like did a headland and then drove over the headland or something. I don't know. That's possible, I suppose, but this is definitely more efficient in this game, at least. Especially with the more realistic mod, because to back up and stuff like that, or to do any kind of smaller, more tighter turns, it's not very efficient with this tractor. Just because the way the turning circle is on this particular tractor, so something to keep in mind. Good. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll stop the episode there for now, so you don't have to see me seed the rest of that field. Yep. Yeah, that'll be it. So what we'll do next episode is we'll have to, I guess we have to start cultivating the other fields too. So we sold that field up there, so don't have to worry about that one at the moment. But we do have that one and one other one, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Anyways, let's stop there for now. My name's Ian Rops, and this has been Farming Simulator 2013, and we're playing on Lomerheim. Catch you guys later.